Welcome to Mind Over Matter with your host, Anya, where we explore the limitless power of the human mind. Today, we have a guest who has spent decades bridging the gap between technology, leadership, and psychology. Arnold Beekes. With 20 years in tech, 20 years in psychology, and personal leadership, and now a mission to dedicate the next 20 years to brain fitness. Arnold is here to show us how to train our minds for peak performance. So, can we actually exercise our brains like a muscle? What does brain fitness mean in an age of constant distraction? And how do we future proof our minds for lifelong learning and resilience? Let's dive in. So, Arnold, the term brain fitness might be new to some people. How would you define it and why is it important?
Well, I define brain fitness as as a state of psychological and physical well-being in which an individual uses his or her uniqueness, learns continuously, deals with challenges, and contributes to a better world for all.
Mm-hmm. Right. A lot of people assume brain health is just about memory. What are the other key aspects of brain fitness?
Sorry, what are?
What are the other key aspects of brain fitness?
Well, there are many actually, Anya. The first we got to understand that we don't have one brain, but we have three brains. Actually, we have a head brain, that is where people associate the brain with, the thing in your head. The I think it is 3 pound of meat in your head. But there's also the gut brain, and there's even more important, the heart brain. So we have three brains. That is important. And we associate the brain, well, I think correctly, with thinking, but a large influence in our lives. Yes, so that's the mental part. That's what we call it, mind, mental, which is not the same as brain, in my opinion. And we have mental aspect, we have emotional, we have spiritual, we have physical, we have environmental and social aspects, which all need to be in a synergy to support our brain fitness.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Just like we train our bodies to stay strong, we need to do the same for our minds, especially in today's fast paced world.
Yes, well, it is very well known, and a lot of people know that if you don't train your body, they like strength training or swimming or playing tennis or cricket in India, or yeah, or go to the gym. You need to keep your body active, otherwise it atrophies. What people don't know is that it is exactly the same with your brain. After your age of 30, that's the same as with your body. After your age of 30, it first slowly starts to degrade. But the moment you get older and older and older, it starts to degrade faster. That doesn't need to happen. And that's why I'm introducing brain fitness, is that if you keep on working on it and keep on training and keep on exercising, well, it won't degrade. It will actually perform at a better level than you're used to right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, we are living in a time of information overload. How does technology impact brain health? Does it help or hurt?
At the moment, I'm inclined to say, Anya, that it destroys your health. Um, the the continuous non-stop use of technology, read basically what people use is their phones or PCs and social media. It is it is really, really very detrimental to the health of your brain. But it's not only that. It's there's also the electromagnetic radiation, which is coming from cell towers like 4G, 5G, 6G, 7G, what they're developing. There's the Wi-Fi router in your home. There's the TV is mostly also on Wi-Fi. That has a huge impact on your brain. In the food, in vaccines, in water, there's extensively technology being used to influence your brain. So you really technology is currently influencing your brain at many different levels.
Mm-hmm. 100%. So, what are some ways people can balance using technology while still keeping their brains sharp?
Well, to keep your brain sharp, it's really essential that you keep it active, like I said earlier, and that you work on complex, challenging work. So and purposeful work. That you really keep on, just as you with your body. If you first were used to running only a couple of kilometers, and you have now as a goal to run a marathon, you need to stretch it. You need to stretch it. You need to keep on stretching it, because if you only keep on running a couple of kilometers, you will never be able to run a marathon. Well, the same is true for your brain. Your brain becomes distracted if it becomes lazy, and whatever it starts to degrade very rapidly. So you need to keep it active, and that by doing is the main thing is keep on learning, keep on creating, keep on caring every day.
Mm-hmm. It's all about mindful consumption, using tech as a tool rather than letting it take control of our focus and attention.
Yes, it's nicely phrased, Anya. I would even say is that, are you controlling technology, or is technology controlling you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, you have spent years working in personal leadership. How does mindset affect our brain fitness?
Well, mindset is a word which doesn't have a clear definition, although we use it all the time. I've replaced it with a word called life set, and life set is the synergy between your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, environmental, and social capabilities. So the combination of how you're applying, how you're using those capabilities defines the energy what you are radiating. And the energy what you're relating is what I call life set, and you might call mindset, but it's a very limited definition. So that's why I came up with a more expensive definition.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. So, can brain training actually help us become better leaders and decision makers?
Totally, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to be myself a leader in the corporate world for many years. I managed very large groups of people, up to 6,000 people. Um, but I mainly, in hindsight, I mainly did it through my mental capabilities and a bit my emotional feeling. If I look at where I am now and where I'm capable of and doing, it would be a huge difference. Although I was very successful in the old world, but I've become a much more complete holistic person, and by doing so you can produce much better results.
Mm-hmm. That's such an empowering idea. When we train our brains, we are not just getting smarter, we are becoming more effective in every part of our lives.
Yes, it's we tend to have in our society, and that's the same all over the world. We tend to see everything from a mechanistic, a material point of view, where we only look at very tiny parts and we isolate the part. But what we forget is that everything works together. Everything, one thing cannot do without the other. Yeah, so it's a holistic. There's a connection between and then that's why I said there need to be a synergy. There need to be a balance, because you, your thinking doesn't go without your feeling. Your feeling doesn't go without an impact on your body. It's like everything is constantly working together. But the main failure, I would say, in our society is that we think we can isolate things and look at it in a very separated point of view, which is totally incorrect.
Mm-hmm. Right. As we age, cognitive decline is a big concern. What can we do now to make sure our brain stays strong for years to come?
Yes, that is that just like is with body fitness, is like if you say my body is getting less, I'm losing strength and it's not working anymore, and you say that when you're 80 years old and you start to do it, you cannot correct it anymore. You're too late. For your brain, it's exactly the same. It's like you, well, basically your whole life, but as the decline starts after you're 30 years old, you need to keep on stretching and using your brain. So, and that is kind of the opposite what most people do, because most people, they, because when they're 20, 25, they finish their education, yeah, whether it's high school, vocational training, university, higher education. So by the time they're 20, 25 or a little bit older, they stop using their brain because they're like, poo poo. Like, no, I finally finished all my learning. And now I can start working and do other stuff. That is the wrong approach. You should keep on challenging and using your brain all of it. So the earlier you start, the better. The later you start, well, the more difficult it becomes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, are there any emerging trends or technologies in brain fitness that excite you?
I would say no. I'm at the moment more inclined to look at the opposite and say that we should be doing things without technology. And I'm very, very worried about how people are using, well, technology to replace the usage of their brain, whereas we should be doing the opposite. And that's what we see in the results. Oh, globally speaking, IQ is declining very rapidly already for years. The same is true for emotional quotient, spiritual quotient. Everything is declining. Mental health quotient. So all of these intelligences are declining because we're not using it. It's just simple. If you don't use it, you lose it, and that is happening right now. So that is why people's creativity is at an all-time low. People are no longer capable of critical thinking, communication, yeah, really, really bonding with other people instead of just sending a couple of emoticons. So for me, that's very, very worrisome. So I think we should go back to, well, really use our own brains and not use technology to replace it in a very, very limited way.
Mm-hmm. Right. Longevity isn't just about living longer, it's about staying mentally strong and engaged in life. Investing in brain health now is investing in our future selves.
Yeah, I hear from people I know in the US is that longevity centers are really emerging, popping up everywhere. I think it is only a good thing if you can maintain your health and your mental and your physical and your emotional health. Otherwise, it's just a burden and it's bringing a lot of cost and to society, which is totally useless. So, but it's also your quality of life. Yeah, yeah. Maybe technology is capable of keeping you alive until you're, I believe it's 120 is what they calculated. But if you're only lying in a hospital, connected to all kinds of tubes, that is not the quality of life. So it is your lifespan, but it's also your health span which matters.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, Arnold, your journey is a testament to the power of continuous growth. First in tech, then in psychology, and now in brain fitness. If there's one thing we have learned today, it's that our minds are not fixed. They can be trained, strengthened, and optimized at any age. For those listening, if you want to start improving your brain fitness, take one small step today. Read a book, challenge your memory, or even just take a mindful breath. Your future self will thank you. Until next time, remember, a strong mind creates a strong life. Keep training, keep growing, and keep your mind over matter.